So this first hand, it's from a 6-max rebuy tournament, and we currently have 9 players left. It's a 20 euro rebuy, so it's effectively like a 60 or 70 euro effective buying. So we have 9 players left. We are approaching the final table bubble. I think it has like about 4,000 euros for first. Harry R here is a decent regular, but I still feel that I have a significant post-flop edge against him. Like, he's a little bit weak post-flop. He's not bad. He's just kind of like ABC weak. So, I mean, I definitely think he makes good money playing against random MTT donks, but I think I have an edge against him. And this hand is a pretty good exercise of how to exploit weak players. So, it's blind versus blind. Your opener is pretty big. I would fold this against a lot of people since we are only 30 big blinds deep. I just don't have that much room to maneuver post-flop. I can't pull any really sick bluffs and stuff like that because we only have like 5 times the pot or whatever ever behind. But since I do feel that I have a significant edge against Harry R specifically, since I played against him a lot, I do think I can still call here. So I make a pretty thin call, and the reason I don't want to 3-bet is that if I 3-bet, I'd have to make it to like 7.5k or something, and he just have like the best possible shoving stack. I think he's going to be 4-bet shoving against me quite a bit if I 3-bet here, even if he's generally not that aggressive pre-flop, but I mean blind versus blind, 30 big blinds deep, everyone's going to jam like ace-x, especially against me because I just 3-bet so much. So yeah, I make a thin call here. Basically, my plan before we see the flop, my plan is to float almost all textures. The only textures where I'm gonna fold is gonna be like deuce 4 or ace xx. Like if it's super dry with a paired board, I think I'm just gonna fold most of the time because I'm just not gonna have a hand very often, especially if it's like a really low board, and if it comes ace brick, that's the flop that hits his range better than mine, because he's gonna be expecting me to 3-bet almost all aces. But I think almost any other texture I can float, because I think in general he's the kind of a player who's gonna be c-betting a lot and then giving up a ton of turn cards unless he either hits or gets a really good barreling board. So here we go. The flop is really dry, but I think this is still floatable. It doesn't hit him very well. I mean, he's not gonna have 2-pair ever. I think he folds every single combination of 2-pair hands he can have. Well, it's pretty hard for me to have anything here either, really, but as we said, he's pretty weak. I mean, I could have a set of 5s or a set of deuces. I think it's perfectly reasonable from his point of view that I'd flat them pre, and I don't know, I might flat them some of the time for sure, but more than what we are representing, it's about his tendencies, so I'm just gonna float this flop. And the turn comes an ace, which is kind of a funny card, because I truly think that if he does have an ace, that's the card he's not gonna barrel. Like, he's gonna barrel that card with like every single hand he has, unless he has an ace. Or I don't know, maybe he has like 2-pair he's gonna barrel, I don't know. But because even that he's not very good and he's a bit weak tight, he still has like some clue about hand reading. He's not a good hand reader by any means, but like he has some clues. So from his point of view, he thinks I am a little bit floaty. So if he has an ace, I think this is a perfect spot for him to check and then either check call twice or check jam, whatever he prefers. Because like he's just not gonna expect me to have an ace here. And when he bets, and he bets really big as well, it doesn't look like I can call here. Like, what am I possibly gonna call here with? Like, the only hand that I would call with if he had an ace would be like 8-9, something like that. I could maybe call off once, thinking he's double barreling, and like he's leaving very little behind as well. Like, I think if he had a strong hand, if he had an ace or 2-pair or set, I really think he'd bet smaller, because if I call here, the pot is going to be 35k and he's going to have 19k behind. So I think that's the kind of a manipulative betting size tell that a lot of semi-good regulars have. They just bet a little bit too much when they want to get folds from people.